Hi, this is Cousin Russ. An impromptu recording, uh, something that have been doing, but I thought I would share it with you. Uh, what I would appreciate if you would just let me know where you're viewing this from, put it in the chat or comments later on, and let me know if you are a user of the Family Tree Maker program. At the bottom of the screen is uh, my blog. Some of the information that I have recorded is on the blog. This one is not, uh, because I want to demonstrate it live, and that's what I'm going to do. Let me bring up Family Tree Maker and get my face off of the recording, and I'm going to proceed. The issue at hand is that I have a number of citations in this database that do not meet my standards. Now, I've been talking about my standards uh, for a while, and I see somebody has joined. I apologize for the short notice, but I was doing this work and I said, I ought to record it. So I am. So I have a citation here down at the bottom, World War II draft registration cards, 1942. But none of my standards are here. In other words, the link to the article itself, the image itself, and there's no place to click on a link so I can see the image if there is an image. Now, there does not appear to be an image on this citation. Now, I happen to know this draft registration card series, and I know that there are images for that record, and I want to see it. So I need to uh, do something to bring this citation up to my standards. Now, if I go to the profile, I'm double clicking on the name. I go to the profile and there is 12 hints. The bad news is none of those 12 are the record that I'm looking for. Hi, Darlene. Uh, Watching from Seattle. Awesome. Thank you for letting me know. So if I'm rather than talk about it, I'm going to demonstrate that. Oh, I know why. Hi, Mike. Good to see you, sir. What I didn't do is click on the link, and there we go. There is a list of hints that has been brought up for uh, John, but not the record that I want. And the reason for that is that I have already gotten this record in my database and is on the Ancestry Member Tree. So it's not going to give me any hints. So, how do I recover from that? Well, I have a trick. I'm going to paste the link in the address bar in the web search workspace, and I'm going to put a 4-digit number, which I happen to know, which will take me to this database, and I'm going to click go. When I click go, it's bringing me up the search screen for that database. Now, what should have happened, and it didn't, so I'm going to do a new search. And when I click the new search, the name in my database, which is down the left-hand side, the name of birth year, some other information. So the fields that I have down here populated the search screen, and that's what I want. I'm going to get rid of these check marks because I don't want those results, because the only thing I want is historical records from this database. So I click search, and there is a couple of items that came up, not the one that I wanted. So I'm going to put in that number again. and click go, and it's not working the way I had hoped it would work because it didn't populate, but that's all right. I can type it because I have it down here. I have the information that I need. Now you see what has happened is that it has filled in, it knows that this person is in my database. So I click on that, and now those fields are repopulated. So now let me do a search, and I'm going to do a search and see if that record that I was looking for will appear. And sure enough, the first record on this list is the record I was looking for. I want to view it to make sure that's the information that I have in my database. There's from the record, and it's down here, and the information that is here is in the right hand side of the web merge feature. Now, one of the things that I do, I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to click on the down arrow to the left of address and open a window. Now that record is on my other screen, which is right there. That's on another screen, but I just have it there so that I can see what I'm dealing with. So what I am going to do now, and I do this all the time, I'm copying the source information from Ancestry, which is that button right there. And now I'm going to merge. I'm going to merge the data from Ancestry and bring it into my database. As I have demonstrated before, I compared the information in my family tree maker file with what is coming from the from Ancestry, and I'm comparing. Those are the same, except look at this. The middle name ends with an N here and a U here. So I'm going to keep this as an alternate fact. The birth date, birthplace is different. It's this one, I have Manhattan. This one says New York City. Those are two different places from a records viewpoint. Physically, they're the same, I understand, but the records are different. And I'm reflecting what the record says. The draft, the residence, this says he's in New York City. This says he's in Essex County, New Jersey, but it's a different fact. This is residence probably from a census record. This one's from the record that I'm bringing into my database. I click next, and now it says merge now, which is I'm going to do. Now, as I have talked about before, that information that I am looking at is now in my database, but now I need to fix the sources information. So I click on sources, and that record that I just brought in is here. This is the record that I just merged, and just above it is where I started. Not the same information. There's more information in the record that I brought in. This one has no way to get back to the record. This one does. The other thing I'll point out is that neither of these records are in the source template feature. So I need to fix that. So what I'm going to do now is starting to fix that. The first thing that I do is in the citation text field right here, I'm going to put the word accessed, 26 March 2022. I spell that out because I don't know who's going to see this later on, but I want it spelled out so abbreviations don't count. I'm going to get rid of that check mark and that check mark because this information does not belong into a citation. But the good news is I have this globe, so I can click back onto that record and bring it up on my screen. And I have this way to get back to that image that I am looking for. That image is going to be very important in a few minutes, and I'll show you why. Now, the next thing I need to do is the citation detail. That is where the citation information goes. Now, what I need to do is have enough information in the citation detail so that you or me can get back to that record. So I'm going to put in his name as it was spelled on the record. Remember, I said that his name was spelled differently, and if I would spell correctly, there we go. And it's 3, a comma, and I'm going to put birth date, 19 May 1891, and I'm going to put military draft date 1942. Where did I get that information from? I got it from my other screen, and here's what that other screen looks like. I just put enough information so we can search to get back to it, because that is probably how you're going to get back to it. And it is, in fact, how I got back to this record when I didn't get any hints. So let me see what else. Draft date. What's important here is stuff that will end up in the citation, except I think that I will leave the record group of 147. So that is what goes into the citation detail. And as I demonstrated when I searched for the record to begin with, that's about all the information that was in there. Now, I need to put that into a source group that is using the source template feature. Now, over here on the left-hand panel, I already have a source group for this source. So I have cleaned up my citation detail. I have his name, and you see that when it did the merge, it messed up his name. But the correct spelling of the name, you will notice, because it takes the name that's in my database. And let me clean that up. Now, I'm going to go, since the source template already exists, all I have to do is move this citation to the source group. So I use the down arrow and I scroll down to World War II draft registration cards 1942, and it is now in the source template feature. Now I've got one thing to do here. I'm going to double click that because I'm going to highlight the date that I accessed it, and I need to use the source or the reference note and paste that date after the URL. Now I'm not quite done with this. I'm going to highlight that because you will notice that there's a media file here. When I talked about the media workspace, I said I put a citation on the media file. I clicked the media detail, and it's got the old citation, but I want the new citation there. I'm not done yet. I want to put it into a category, and I talked about this before. It goes into the military category, and then I need to fix the caption. The caption is his full name, 1942, World War II draft registration. So that's good so far. Hi, Sherry. Good to see you. I am going to click OK, and I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to the media tab because I got the caption right, but I need to make sure the file name is correct, which it is not. So I'm going to put my file naming convention is a surname dash first name underscore middle name underscore, because he's the third, the year 1942 dash world, and I do not use spaces, I use underscore. That is an old DOS 8 or DOS related thing that I started many years ago, and I see no reason to change. So I now have coordinated the file name, and I'll just open up the image. The file name, which is here, and the caption are now the same. But we have a problem. And let me bring over the problem so you can see the problem. There is the image that we see on my other screen. I'm going to double click it, and it's going to open that image so I can see it. But I happen to know that this draft registration card has a second page. That second page did not come through when I did the merge. That's an issue between Family Tree Maker and Ancestry. But I need to get this second image, and I'd make sure it's the one that I want. And I want to click on the toolbar, and I want to rotate it to the right. And now I want to download it. It is now downloaded onto my computer. So I go back to Family Tree Maker, and I'm going to cancel that because I was just showing that I had an image, and I'm going to double click to get back to the citation, go to media, attach a new media file. So what I'm going to do now is go to the download, and there is that image that I just downloaded. I'm going to put it into my military category, which is there. Now, what I need to do is click OK, because I need to go back and copy the reference note. Go back to media, select the second image, and paste that citation with this image. Now I can cheat, and I am going to cheat because I don't like to type. I'm going to open up the first image, media detail, and I'm going to copy I'm going to copy the caption, but now that I know there's two images, I put a -1 because I want this image to show up first, and I want to click OK. Going to the second image, media detail, caption, -2, and we're good, except that I have one more task to do, and I'm going to click OK because I want to rename this file, and I'm going to add a -1, Control A, C, click OK, rename the file, and you see it says -1 already exists. Yes, I know. So I need to change the 1 to 2. So now the citation is now correct. The two media files are correct. The file name and caption are both the way that I want it. And I go to the links and I will double click on the name. And the next thing that I do is I put my research log. I just put World War II draft registration. I do another thing. I hit task and new, the same thing, and I put merged. So this is my to-do list, but I'm keeping track of how many times I used hints or I was successful in searching. As I started, I wasn't getting any hints because the data was already in the Ancestry Member Tree. So I have a category called searched. I searched for it. You watched me search for it and I found it. So my task list is now done. The research log is correct. Now my job is to clean up what the web merge did. I started when I was reviewing what I have in my database and what Ancestry says is that there was a spelling difference in the name. The middle name in my database is U. The database from Ancestry said N. Now, which is correct? The reason why what I just did was so important is that I can get back to that record in one of two places, the Globe or view source online. I'm going to use the Globe, and it opened up in my browser. I can double click on it because I'm looking for something specific. Now, I believe that record, that last letter, is in fact a U and not an N. So what the transcription said is wrong. I believe when I looked at the image, that image said U. The transcription from Ancestry said N. That's conflicting information to my mind. So how am I going to deal with that? That's easy. I'm going to select the incorrect entry and I'm going to select notes. Now, when I do notes, I put the date. As I've talked about, I spell out the date. The image shows you, and the transcription shows N. So I have made a note that when I looked at the image, that I believe the transcription was wrong. Now, I don't want this stuff appear, and if you don't look for it, it won't. So I am going to mark that fact, that name fact, as private, so it will not be put online. So I have taken care of the conflicting information in the name, and what I will do from there on, and I won't bore you with that, but what I am going to do is then go back to the image, or to the record, and make sure that I have all the information that's on the image, because there's some info. I don't know what next of kin means here. Next of kin is here, and I will capture the address, which did not come over in the merge. I will actually capture the serial number, the address, uh, the name and address of who will know where he is, the business name and address. I will capture in my database that did not come in when I did the web merge. I will take care of that, not here, but I will make sure that the data is in. The good news is now is I'm going to go back to the sources workspace and go back to this entry that I did not like to begin with. So I am going to click on this fact, and there is the registration for the name that I've already taken care of. Now you'll see that the third is not here. The spelling is as it came from Ancestry, but the third is not here. I am going to, because I have replaced this citation with this citation. So I can go here and unlink that citation from that fact. I'm going back to the sources workspace, go back to the bad citation, and I'm going to double click, because it'll take me to the fact that that was recorded, and there is the same bad citation, and unlink it. I'm going to go one more time to the bad citation. I'm going to double click it. It brings me to the citation. Now, in this case, you will notice that I could, in fact, I will. I'm going to unlink that citation, the bad one. And when I have done that, it's asking me, the source citation no longer has any links to it. Do you want to remove it from your tree? The answer is yes. I now have a citation or a fact here without a source. I'm going to leave it like that. Do I need to leave it like that? There is Manhattan, New York County. Because I can't see the record that got this information into my database, and it has the registration. Here we go, right below it. It says New York City, New York City, New York. I can't prove what the record says. So I am going to right click and delete that fact. And the other thing that I'm going to do, one of the things that I would normally do, and I'm going to do it here, because that record was created. Let me go to the second page. Whoops. Because it says 4/26/42. So I'm going to put 4/26/1942, because that's what the record said that he was in New York City. This place name is not correct, but I will deal with that when I deal with place names. So I now am back to where I wanted to be. That citation that was bad, which was down here, I now can right click and delete it. What's right down below it is where that citation came in when I first brought it, did the merge, and I moved it up to the source template feature, which is up here, so I can also delete that source. Now, that probably didn't make any sense to you. It sounded confusing, probably. Hi, Terry T. from Illinois. What I have just demonstrated, Terry, and I think you've watched this before, that what I just demonstrated, although it was from a PC, you can do the same way on your Mac. As I don't think I'm pretty sure that everything that I did on the PC, you can do exactly the same way on the Mac. I know there is some difference, but not in what I demonstrated today. So anyhow, I'm going to end here in a second. If anybody has any questions, please let me know in the live chat or comments later. I do have a description of the office hours playlist, what I'm trying to accomplish, and other information. I normally try to give more lead time from when I set up uh, the event, and when I started, I normally try to give 2 hours. But I was doing this, and at the last minute, I said I need to record this so folks can see what it is that I'm doing. So I apologize for that, but that may happen as time goes on. Anyhow, if you have any questions, please put the question in the chat, and I will bring it up. And I'll just quickly go back and recognize Terry and Sherry, and she just put another comment in. We'll watch a couple more times to get the flow. What I just went through is not normal, but my process overall is the same. There's a lot of details only because I'm trying to clean up this database. My friend from near Niagara Falls, Mike, and Darlene, thank you very much for making your comments, and you're very welcome. If you have any questions, like I said, leave it in the chat, and when I end the broadcast, leave it in the comments later. Thank you very much for stopping by, and have a great day. Thank you very much.